Hi everyone, welcome back. I am Juliana and today I'm going to talk you through a very cool trick I learned. A few days ago, I came across a data source that had more than 50 columns that needed renaming. So it would be very labor intense to manually rename each one of them. I usually do it manually, I don't mind, but there were slightly over 50 columns and I really did not want to do that. So I started trying to find a way to address this issue in a more automated way. And I came across a really cool YouTube tutorial on the Agile Insights, which I'm going to put the link in the video descriptions. In this tutorial, I learned a few functions in M that allow us to automate a little bit more the rename of our column headers. So let's look into how to do it now. So we have this example here that, of course, there are not many columns, and I will probably do it manually if I only had these, but it's easier to illustrate what I'm trying to do. So I have here my project number, activity type, activity naming, BL start, BL finish, forecast start, and forecast finish. But there is a number one and underscore in front of all of them, and I don't want that. I want just to be called project number, activity type, and so on. I want to remove the one and underscore that is in front of the column name. So let's duplicate this query. And then the first function you're going to look into is table column names. So I will just add a new step, insert step after, and my step will be the function Table.column name. So this one here. And then I'm going to put my previous step again, that is source. So when I do that, it will return a list with all the column headers. And let's try to work on these so we don't have to manually enter or create another file with the column names that we want. So first, I'm going to have to convert to table. So I have here to table. And I'm just going to click OK. And there we go. I'm going to call these old. And I'm going to just duplicate this column. And then in transform, I will extract after delimiter. And my delimiter will be the underscore. There we go. So I have now my old and my new column headers. So next step, I will need to convert these into a list of lists. And there is a function called Table.ToRows. So that is the function that I learned on this tutorial. That this function will convert a table, which is our table here, into a list of rows where each row is represented as a list of values. So the first row is going to be project number and project one underscore project number and then project number. And that will be used when we use the function Table.RenameColumns in the original query so we can rename our headers. So let's look in how to do it. So I'm just going to insert a new step. And I'm going to use the Table.ToRows. I'm going to open bracket and close the bracket. So now I have my list of lists. So if I click here, that's going to show what is my old and what is my new. I'm just going to close it. So I'm just going to rename these as well. I'm going to call it, column headers. We don't need it. And then if I go back to my original query, the one that I need to rename the column headers, if I try to manually rename this, you can see here that's the function we need to use, Table.RenameColumns. And then this is the previous step. This is what we need to rename and what is going to be renamed for. And these two values, they are on the list of lists that we created previously. So I'm just going to remove this step. And then I'm going to search another step. And I'm going to use Table.RenameColumns. Open my bracket. And then I have my previous step. I'm going to put a comma. And I'm going to add the column headers, or the list of lists. So here it is. Then I'm going to close my bracket and hit enter. And you can see that all the headers now, they have the name that I want them to have. And then something that I also learned on this tutorial, I never actually did, you can rename the applied step. So if you right click, you can rename. And then I'm going to rename it just because it's going to be easier to understand what I did in my query. I'm going to call it change column headers. There we go. So yes, that's a very short video. I found it really cool and I've already used it and it works absolutely fine. Make sure you have a look on the tutorial I mentioned earlier because it explains each one of these steps in more details. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you found this trick interesting. Let me know if you use it in the future. It's goodbye from me now and see you on the next video.